It's New Zealand's biggest race series. 9 core classes from single-seaters to sports cars, to fantastic saloons to supercars. It's the IRC Motorsport Series, offering New Zealand racers 7 rounds from October to March to run in. Today, we meet some of the drivers and their great race cars and find out just what makes this series so appealing. At round 4 and 5 at the Taupo and Hampton Downs, the IRC Series hosted the Toyota Racing Series, New Zealand's premier motor race series, which showcases young international driving talent to a worldwide audience of millions of viewers. But alongside the stars like New Zealand Grand Prix champion Nick Cassidy, an enthusiastic bunch of club racers and enthusiastic young racing hopefuls were battling it out on the track in 12 different classes. From Mazdas to Formula Firsts, to Porsches, SS2000s and GTs, and even some pretty exotic sports cars. Rick Bone is a lifetime motorsport enthusiast. He races the pretty little number 87 Datsun 1200 Coupe in the New Zealand GT class.
This Datsun's been around for a long time. It was originally built for the SS2000 series in the early 90s. It was owned by Charles and Ben Cox. It ran a A15 in it, built by Marsh Motorsport. We purchased the car as a rolling car and reassembled it, and we've run it successfully in SS2000 for about 6 or 7 years. And last season we decided to go to NZ GT just to change it up a little bit, and we've put in the SR20 turbo engine, and we're having a whole lot of fun.
So this is the first race of the New Zealand GT class at Taupo, and it's Rick Bone and Roger Condor on the front row. So as they head down into the first turn, it is not a very good start there from Rick Bone, so he slots up into 3rd place, car number 99, Roger Condor into 2nd. So he's got a bit of chasing to do. Just look at the fields here, streaming through turn 1 and up into the infield section here. In this combined field, well over 30. This is Dave Geraghty in the Mitsubishi Evo out in the front. Condor in 2nd, Rick Bone through in 3rd place, and then it looks like it's Brock Cooley in another Mitsubishi Evo in 4th, and of course they'll be using all the advantages of the 4-wheel drives. The serpentine section of the circuit really sorts them in from the boys, but at the moment it is Geraghty showing them all a clean pair of wheels. Have a look at the different cars in the class here. We've got muscle cars, we've got 4-cylinder cars, 6-cylinder cars, V8s. Fastest part of the circuit now as they head down into the sweeper, and it is still Geraghty in the front. Condor looking for racing room down the outside, past the old clubhouse, and we have a change, do we? Yes, we do. Roger Condor goes into the front, Geraghty back into 2nd place, and look at the attention he's getting there from Rick Bone in the little 1200 Coupe, now repowered by an SR20. He was a standout in SS2000 racing, but this is GTs. This is a new challenge for him. Brock Cooley looking for racing room as well, but Condor has got this one on a string at the moment. Into the complex they come. Who will be the last of the late breakers? Bone up the inside. Cooley trying to protect his position from Geraghty. Geraghy's gone from 1st to 4th in the space of about the long straight here at the Rico Taupo Raceway. Onto the front straight they come once again. First lap down, and it's Roger Condor from Tauranga in the front. Bone now up into 2nd place. Then it's Brock Cooley in 3rd in the Macbuilt Engineering Mitsubishi, and then it is our early race leader, and that is David Geraghty in another Mitsubishi Evo. Just have a look at that orange car in the background. Very interesting car. That's car number 95, and that is Mark Allen in a Vauxhall Forenza, can you believe? So, well, it's not quite run what you brung. I'm picking that car would probably be an ex-Oscar car from years gone by. Just look at the pace here of Rick Bone. You've got to be very careful in the GT racing that you don't go faster than your fastest nominated time. And if you do that, you will be assessed a time penalty. So Rick Bone will have that in the back of his mind as he works his way past the fastest part of the circuit here at Taupo and up into the big sweeper at the top end of the circuit. Bone in the Datsun leads it. In 2nd place, it is Roger Condor in the Nissan. Then it is Brock Cooley in the Mitsubishi, but I've spoken too soon because he's just thrown it just a little bit wide coming off the sweeper. That double apex turn's caught out Brock Cooley, and that means that David Geraghty will have a good run as they come up the long straight here at Taupo. Of course, this is an international standard drag strip, so it's plenty of runoff, plenty of length, and plenty of time for David Geraghty to maybe make a position here. Yes, he does. Dives down the inside, under brakes as he goes through the complex, turns 12, 13 and 14 and onto the front straight once again. So 2 laps down in the GTs, and the field is sort of finding its formation. Rick Bone in the number 1 spot. But, you know, we talked about that handicap situation. The word we're getting from race control is that Rick Bone has done exactly what he didn't want to do, and he's gone too fast. He nominates his time. He's beaten that time, so it means he will be assessed a time penalty. Look at this beautiful Chevy Z28 Camaro. This is Grant Dalton of America's Cup fame in this car, in the colours of Red Dawson from the 70s. Some say the halcyon years of New Zealand motor racing. Oh, they've given him the big rap. I've put the commentator's kiss of death on him because Dalton spins it out with no assistance at all. Car number 24 there is Morris Shapley from Wakatani in the big cubed Holden Monaro. That one 427, so plenty of power. And in behind him, an RX-7, that's Roger Brader from Masterton. So they're starting to sort themselves out. Here's the replay of Grant Dalton getting it horribly wrong. Probably tacked when he should have jibed there. No doubt he'll have a story with that beautiful Z28 Camaro. Back with the action, it's Mitsubishi on Mitsubishi. It is Dave Geraghty staying in front of Brock Cooley. That's the battle for 3rd and 4th. Condor in 2nd. Rick Bone continues to lead, but remember, he has the spectre of a time penalty for breaking out, if you like, of his established lap times. Onto the front straight, this battle for 3rd and 4th goes. There is Shapley just in behind. Then it would be Brader. Early days for the IRC Summer Series here at the Rico Taupo Raceway. There is Rick Bone, car number 87. I'm sure he will be getting the information from his crew, the Auckland Engineering Supplies team, telling him that he's got a bit of a surprise waiting for him when he finishes this race. He's going to be assessed a time penalty that's going to slip him down the order. It's probably in the order of 10 to 15 seconds, so that's probably going to put him back in about 7th or 8th spot, I think. We'll keep an eye on what happens. We'll keep an eye on this battle as well. Brock Cooley, who's a bit of a veteran of this class now, locked together in a battle with Dave Geraghty, car number 198 there, Mitsubishi on Mitsubishi, but far from a street Mitsubishi because these cars run in excess of around about 550, 600 horsepower, massive turbochargers and intercoolers on these Japanese missiles. Got to get this part absolutely dead right because it makes such a difference at the end of the long front straight, and that is where Rick Bone is heading. So there is Condor in 2nd. This is this battle we've been concentrating on, 3rd and 4th, and there's been a change for 5th and 6th as well by the look of it. Looks like Masterton's Roger Brader in the RX-7 who's got in front of Morris Shapley. We'll keep an eye on that. Well, no one's going to get in front of Rick Bone as he comes through. He'll see the checkered flag first, but remember, he has got the spectre of the penalty, so he crosses the line in 1st place. In 2nd place, it will be Roger Condor, and then it will be Brock Cooley from Dave Geraghty. So Rick Bone takes the flag, but unfortunately a 10-second penalty will drop him to 5th place, and that means that Roger Condor takes the win. 2nd is Brock Cooley, and in 3rd it is Dave Geraghty. Taupo driver Glenn Clarke is living the GT dream with this genuine Australian V8 supercar.
So the decision to buy a V8 supercar, where did that come from? We're just watching it on TV, and the brother-in-law and friends, and we just it was just a thing we always wanted to do but couldn't afford it, so it was a long time dream. So the old boy's a bit long in the tooth now, but we thought we'd better have a go before we got too much older, yeah. So what are the technical challenges of running a supercar?
Setup is critical on them. You can get away with it, but on a less, more basic car, but supercar, if it's wrong, it's bad. You've got to get it bang on, and it works for you, but it's really critical to get that set up right for each track. We've got a crew chief that used to work for Wayne Gardner way back when he raced in supercars in Australia. He worked with Angus Fogg previously. He's got a lot of knowledge. We've got a full setup sheet from the guys who bought the car from Howard Racing in Australia, so we've got a good base to start from, and then we just jiggle it from there.
I mean, financially, how did it work out going and buying a purpose-built race car as opposed to, say, building a New Zealand special?
The reason we did it was we wanted to turn up the races and try and hopefully finish every race. They're pretty strong and bulletproof. You can just really cane the things. They're built real strong. So that point of view, we wanted to be here and race, not spending time fixing the things.
So it sounds like initially an expensive exercise going by a V8 supercar, but like everything in this class, you can run it to a budget.
Yes, out bang for buck. You've got a really competitive car that's strong, that you most probably going to fish most races, and to build one would probably cost you more if you're doing it yourself.
This is the GT1 and 2 race, this time from Hampton Downs in the Waikato. And the field has been boosted by a few of the Porsche drivers in there, and it is one of the Porsche drivers going out into the front, and that's Tim James. Now, the last time I saw Tim James race, he was in a Porsche Boxster, but this is near a factory Porsche 996, so you can expect fireworks from Tim. Brent Greer just making his presence felt there, moving into 3rd place. Car number 72, but it is Tim James as they come up and over the top. We go back to the staggered start. These are the GT1 cars, supposedly the fastest cars in New Zealand. Again, you'll see GT3 Porsches in the field, but also some open class BMWs and some old Trans Am cars. And one car we'll look for to see if it gets away there is Nick Chester in the Bullet Quick Holden Commodore XV8 supercar, but then they spent a whole heap of money on it, poured a whole lot of horsepower into it, and he is one of the fastest cars around the circuit here at Hampton Downs. Car number 5 there is Kerry Halligan in an ex-Trans Am Chevy Corvette. And still no sign of Chester. Well, I said he's quick, but he's given them one heck of a start. Bit of a lock-up there from Jeff Lowry as we watch Stephen Rudd take them over the top of turn 3 and down the other side. This is Jeff Lowry, car number 124 in the GT series, but it's a little bit confusing because he's got 24 on the windscreen. He's trying to keep this guy in sight. This is Tim James, and he is having a fantastic debut in this brand new race car. Brent Greer in there, Rick Bone, the giant killer, he's in this field as well. Back there in 4th place. So watch for the progress from him. Past Porsche Series champion Ian Hare there in another GT3. And it's not often you see a 1200 Datsun coupe body race car get in front of a GT3 Porsche, but that's what we're seeing here at Hampton Downs. This is the race leader though, this is Tim James. There is Bone, we talked about him before. Very, very sideways there is Brent Greer. Well, he doesn't know any other way, really. He's been a hallmark of his driving for a couple of seasons now. He likes to really wrench the steering wheel, does Wellington's Brent Greer, and he's doing a good job of it here. GT1's just coming into the back of the shot. Car number 67 there, got some problems. Now, this is Rod Pratt, one of the veterans, as we go back to the front of the field. Car number 996, Tim James continues to lead it. Rick Bone's got his way up into 3rd place now, just about to be displaced there by Glenn Smith. There is Nick Chester, so it's the first time we've seen him, so he must have been giving them one heck of a start, but you can see the power difference already. That car's rumoured to have over 800 horsepower. It is something pretty special. As I said, it started life as a V8 supercar, but then it just grew and grew and grew. Glenn Smith in behind him, past TQ champion of New Zealand in the ex-Tony Quinn Porsche. So you will see the faster boys come through, so Tim James is shuffled back through the field now. And as we expect around this 2.8 kilometre circuit with all the twists and turns and the long straights, the GT1s were always going to have the legs on some of the Exotica that started in front of them. 221 is Bill Young. Just got a glimpse of another veteran there, Max Pennington in the Nissan. It's him just in behind Young at the moment. There is Brent Greer out of Wellington, regular runner in the Porsche Club Series. So this good little battle group as they come down into the hairpin now. Young, Pennington and Greer. Rick Bone using all the track and a little bit more to try and keep the little Datsun in the hunt. But look at the power of Pennington and the Nissan Skyline. Looking to find a way round the outside of Young, can't do it. The top end of the circuit here at Hampton Downs, through the big sweeper they come now. You can see that GTR, the Godzilla's got plenty of power. This time he rounds up the Porsche of Young, so a positional change for Max Pennington. And he has come from way back, just as Nick Chester has done. So slowly but surely the boys at the back are starting to cut through this field. Pennington in the Auto City Nissan. As I said, it's been around for a long time in the New Zealand Motor Racing Series, as have quite a few of the drivers in the GT1 and GT2 classes. Well, one of the Porsches races run by the look of it. That looks like one of the old Lighting Direct cars. See if we can pick up on that later. This is a good little battle though. Rick Bone, talk about a giant killer, all over the back of Tim James at the moment. Pennington looking to pounce as well. So Tim James is really going to have to look to his laurels here if he wants to keep these two cars behind him. A Datsun and a Nissan, separated by years, horsepower and technology. Into the hairpin they come. A little bit wide this time for James, maybe just trying to cover that apex to Bone. Oh, they've made contact. Well, that wasn't in the script, I'm sure. And then Tim James gets it wrong and slams into the side of Rick Bone. Well, that was a chapter of accidents. I'd love to see it on the replay, but it's all gone horribly wrong. The debut has gone wrong for Tim James. And also for car number 38, he spun as well. That's Rudd in the Mazda. So it's all happening here at Hampton Downs. Here it is on the replay. Just a little bit of contact, and then Tim James has grabbed a big footful of throttle and spun into the side of Bone. Bone's tried to continue, he hasn't been able to, and out of all that, this man is the man that's come out on top. This is Max Pennington in the Nissan. He goes across the stripe at the front of the field. Last lap board, what a time to make the pass. So Max Pennington, the cards are falling in his favour here at Hampton Downs. He's in the front for the moment. This is Glenn Smith just rounding up one of the slower cars there. Car number 29, Brent Harris in the Nissan Skyline. This is an interesting car Glenn Smith's got. It's the ex-Tony Quinn endurance Porsche racer. It's a 997. Glenn, of course, a past rally champion and TQ Speedway champion of New Zealand. This is the man that's going to be the champion of this race, though. This is Max Pennington. Heading up into the hairpin once again in the Godzilla, the Nissan GTR, sponsored by Auto City. Now in second place now it'll be Bill Young, and then it'll be, by the look of it, Brent Green. You just got a glimpse there of Nick Chester in the background, and that car is so fast, I would expect Chester to be up in the results as they work their way toward the flag. This man's going to see it first, though, as he comes out of the big sweeper at the bottom end of the circuit and up the long straight. This is Max Pennington in the Nissan. He's going to take first place. In second place, it will be Bill Young. That's in the GT2 class. Now, who is going to cross the line in third place? Look at the closing speed of Nick Chester, and I think he picked the pocket of the man in fourth, and that was Brent Greer. So Max Pennington is the winner, but with the elapsed time and the split grid start, the overall fastest man on the circuit was Nick Chester, as these results will show. The Motul SS 2000 class has been one of the long-standing race classes in the North Island. The class, which started out catering for 4-cylinder up to 2000cc cars, has grown now, and a wide variety of cars and power plants are catered for. It's a great place to start racing, like rookie Tauranga driver Murray Bell.
I used to race a 250 go-kart, so I wanted something with a bit of power. And that's the problem I've got. It's got so much power on road tyres, trying to get it traction on the ground. Yeah, it's an RX-7 Series 6 car. The guy won the 2010-2011 RX-7 class in it, but he took the engine out and he's put a Honda 2-litre motor in it with a turbo on it. And it produces 550 horsepower on low boost at the moment. So trying to get the traction on the ground is, I can only put my foot down slowly, and but it's fun to drive. And that's why I'm in the class, to have fun. The SS 2000 appealed to me because it's a cheap running class. You can run car tyres on the cars, and the cars are reasonably cheap cars to buy and run, so that's what appealed to me, yeah.
And at the other end of the power scale, this Toyota Starlet of Gary Maddock.
This is the fifth year now that I've been racing. There's been a few trials through the years, and haven't been able to make every race meeting. I found a class that was running a national series, and I wanted one that wasn't too expensive, but there was a wide variety of cars. I find it frustrating everyone driving the same car all the time. So it was great to have a car that was, everyone's got hybrids or just a 2-litre tin top that goes as fast as you possibly can. This car is a 2-litre Toyota Starlet. Well, it's a 2-litre Honda motor inside a 2-litre Starlet GT body shell. It was built by Race Pro back in the early 90s. The engine's a 2-litre Honda motor. It originally started out as a 1800cc B18C block. The block's been bored and Darton sleeves installed. The head's been modified, heads, valves, cams, extracted, modified inlet ports, outlet ports. A company called Speed Factor in Tauranga built the motor up several years back and used to run it in their Speed Factor Integra. and I purchased the Integra off them. The motor's quad throttle bodies, produces roughly 165 kilowatts at the wheels, and it's enough to propel a 900 kilo car pretty well. Weight is how they keep them competitive. The 1600 cc's have a maximum weight class, the 1800 cc's, 2 litres. 2 litres weight class for my car is 900 kilos, so I must be over 900. We weighed in yesterday, 901. We're going to run a bit more fuel in the tank. It was a close run thing. So with the turbos, they're running, some of them are running 400 plus horsepower, but they're weighing over 1100 kilos. Whereas, our smaller cars are a bit lighter. Weight is the key to the class, really. Weight and balance. It's interesting that the rotaries now are so fast. They've got 2 very good cars in the class.
So we return to Taupo for the final of the SS2000s, and Andy Duffin and Brent Killip on the front row. Look at the start coming from the second row there, and I've got a feeling that's Brett Thompson and that quick little Honda it is. He slots up into 3rd place as they head down into turn number 1, but it's the refugees from the old RX7 class out in the front for the moment. Just listen to the roar of these RX7s in SS2000 class trim. And as the name suggests, you can run pretty near anything you want, different engines, as long as they're no bigger than 2 litres. So it's Mazda on Mazda as they work their way up into turn number 5 here at Taupo. Brent Killip on the inside in the white car. Outside of him it is Andy Duffin. Duffin, a past national champion in the RX7s, in both the RX7 Plus class and also the standard class. And Brent Killip, a champion in the standard RX7 class, making the move to SS2000s. Into the sweeper they come for the first time. Killip in the Rivoli panel and paint, Wally Elder Garage sponsored car out in the front. Once again, have a look at the different cars here, the different variations we got. We got Antorito in a very quick Honda Civic. Look for him. He is car number 1, mired back in the pack at the moment as we continue to concentrate on this battle. Well, Duffin was the last of the late breakers, and he's taken Killip as they work their way into the complex. Thompson through in 3rd place. Not quite running the pace of the 2 Mazdas in the front, but holding his own quite well in that very, very fast little Honda, the M Factory sponsored machine. So that is Antorito in behind him in 4th place now. So he's come through well. And in 5th it looks like Ray Brown. Pick that up when they come a little bit closer. So this battle, 3rd and 4th. There is Antorito. And further down through the field, just inside the top 10 at the moment, car number 35, Todd Taylor, and in behind him, Gary Maddock, who we talked to earlier on. Another quick little car. And the hallmark of the SS2000s is the fact that it's very much affordable racing. And it's very close in the different categories you've got within the race class. And that makes it appealing. Good job being done at the moment by car number 35 there, Todd Taylor. So just having a look at the top of the field, no real change there. Duffin and Killip really have shown the rest of this field a bit of a bit much pace. Slight lock up there from the left rear of Duffin as he comes up onto the lap traffic. This is always an interesting situation. What does the driver in front do? Does he try and race with these guys, or does he just hold his line? All the faster guys will tell you that it's best for the lap people just to hold their line. Don't do anything unexpected. Duffin clears the slower traffic without too much problem. Brett Killip does the same. They come into the complex now. Duffin heading for the checkered flag this time, so we're on the last lap. Final race of the SS2000s here at Taupo, their summer series, round number 4. Checkered flag comes out. Here comes a big charge from Brett Killip, but it's going to be too little too late, and it will be Duffin just by about a quarter of a car length, but Andy Duffin will get the win from Brett Killip in 2nd place. Antorito would cross the line in 3rd. And then it would have been Ray Brown. 5th place went to Grant Shirley, and in 6th it was Brian Hamilton. 7th went to Peter Edmund, and in 8th it was Gary Maddock. 9th, Tim Corset, and in 10th place, Kevin Townsend. The RX7 class originated in the South Island, but it's strongly represented here in the North Island at the IRC meetings, featuring both the older Series 1 and the more modern cars, like the Series 6 of Brodie Scott.
My stepfather, he raced classic cars a few years ago, so it was just sort of one of those things I really wanted to get into. Started in go-karts, then I did the Series 1s, which is the class that you want to start in the RX7s, and then progressed into this. It's a Series 6 RX7. I brought it off Matt Lockwood, so it's a championship winning car. This is my first season in the car, so they all run 13Bs. Everyone's got to have the same motors, same computers, tyres, so it's all about the driver, so it's a real good class.
Is that the appeal for you?
It is, because it's actually not about money, and that's the good thing about the class. It's keeping everyone in there, so you don't have to be that rich guy with the rich father or anything like that. It's just come out, have a go, and we're all the same.
How difficult are these cars to run and operate?
They're actually not. They're really good. It's pretty much we're doing nothing, just making sure the tyre pressures are set, and that's the real good thing about the class. You don't have to worry about adjusting the suspension too much. You just tune up. I haven't touched the car except for the tyre pressures, and that's what we've been playing with the whole time.
Coming up, we meet the young guns of Formula First and some old favourites in the New Zealand Porsche Club Racing Championships. A big field of Porsches racing at Hampton Downs. The popularity largely due to the class catering for cars of all age and power.
This is where I started my Porsche racing back in '98. So, and I had a bit of a stint in the GT3 Cup, and it's great to be back racing with these guys.
David, tell us about this car that you're campaigning in the Porsche Club Race Series.
This is a 2001 GT3 Cup car, a factory-built race car. So this car is obviously 11 years old, or nearly 12 years old now, and I've been running it since 2004, and it ran new in New Zealand, so it's been in every track around the country and raced up and down against some pretty famous people, and been driven by some good guys.
With the downfall of the GT3 Cup, is this where these cars have ended up?
In most cases, these cars have ended up in this class, but some of them ended up doing endurance series, but this class is certainly, if you want to go out and do sprint races with a great bunch of people, the camaraderie is excellent, so it's a fabulous place to be.
Huge variety of Porsches here, so how do they control the difference between the cars?
This series has been running now for more than 25 years, and the entire time it's run with a number of different classes, up to 5 or 6 classes. And the same's true today. Those classes have evolved, and there's an open class as well for almost all comers in Porsches. But other than that, there is a controlled series based on largely power to weight ratio, a controlled tyre, and it means that you can compete in whatever car that you have and have a chance of potentially winning a class.
One of the older cars is Kevin Etch's 944. It's a former Class C champion, but now it's been modified and lightened.
Yeah, 944 S2. We've got a few cars running in the series now. They're really old, 20-odd-year-old cars. I mean, we're just bringing them out, and they're going really well. Awesome handling car. We built this car 5 years ago and built it from scratch. And we won Group C and Group C champion with the car, and then in 2010 we lightened it all up and went into Group B, so we're running sort of Group B at the moment, so yeah, it's a really good car.
So 8 laps for the Porsches here, and on the front it is the fast boys in a good start coming from Brent Greer, getting round the outside of Mackerel to move into 3rd place, but heading out into the front past Porsche Series champion, that's Ian here in the GT3 run by International Motorsport. Mackerel recovering a little bit from that questionable start, so he's moved up into 4th place. Tim James just ahead of him. In fact, Mackerel into 3rd now, goes down the inside of Greer. So 996 on GT3. Out in the front, it is Ian here though. And these cars are quick round here, real bit of exotica. Some of these cars have got an amazing history. The class is basically 3 classes in one. It's worked out on a very complicated horsepower to power weight ratio formula. But it all works very, very well, and the series has been going for over 25 years, so it's one of the most popular in New Zealand. You can see a huge field of Porsches streaming down and into the Austin's turn now. See Greer there from Wellington, just in behind him, Struan Robertson. So 944s, GT3s and 911s making up the field. You can have a look, if you've got eagle eyes, you'll see the different windscreen banners on the car denoting classes A, B and C, but you've probably worked out for yourself by now that it's the fast boys out on the front, and there's none faster in this class than Ian here. He's in the lead. In 2nd place at the moment it is Mackerel. Then we would go back to James, and then it would be Greer. Early stages, just a little bit of sorting out. The series started off as gentlemanly racing, but these days they are very, very serious about what they do. You can see that with a big lunge from Tim James to take the spot from Brent Greer. James in the 996, Greer in the GD3, car number 72, there he is. Trailers it regularly from Wellington to compete in the Porsche series and also in the IRC races. Real exotic up on the racetrack here at Hampton Downs. And talking to some of the old stages in the Porsche class, the likes of Brian McGovern, just an absolute pleasure to drive these cars. You get the feeling he's just not done with yet. He's just regrouping, I think. He's going to mount a challenge here on Tim James. And as I speak, he tries to get a little bit closer as they come through the big sweeper. This time, Greer decides to change lines. He'll go to the inside. James covers it, though, and will hold the position as they head across the stripe to complete another lap here at Hampton Downs. This 2.8 kilometre circuit, real test for man and machinery. You just get the feeling this battle is going to continue for some time. James, Greer and Millen are just getting into this as well. Just tailing onto the back of Greer as they come through the off-camber turn number 1 into turn 2 here at Hampton Downs, and then it's up and over the hill. The cars get very, very light. Problems here for Robert Dong in the 944. His race has ended early. So the 944s, the front engine Porsches, of course the GT3s and the 911s, the rear engine. And Porsche aficionados will tell you that the rear engine sometimes provides a little bit of a pendulum effect. If you're a little bit heavy on the throttle in the turns, you don't have that problem with these cars though. But they range from 4 to 6 and V8 examples. Car number 21 there is Marco Holtreiter in another 944. And Phil Jones going through there, car number 34, so he's making his progress through. This is the battle for Class C. Ahead of them, as you would expect, the Class B cars, the likes of Kevin Etchers, and out in the front, still Ian Hare and Tim James and David Mackerel. So this is Ian Hare. He is our race leader. As I said, been a champion in this class and the New Zealand Porsche Championship multiple times. Just have a look at the back of this car. Just notice a little bit of blue smoke coming from it. Now that may be the fact that we were going through a turn, a little bit of oil surge, or maybe there's a little bit too much oil in the sump, but probably not going to concern Ian too much. But I'm sure the International Motorsport crew will be looking on as it gets a little bit more substantial. 1 lap to go. Can Ian Hare hold it together? Here is the man in second place. This is David Mackerel in another GT3 Porsche, car number 92. Mackerel, another veteran of the Porsche series. And in third place, it's still Tim James. In fact, no, I think it might be Brent Greer might have just got up ahead. We'll keep an eye on that because it was very, very close indeed. This is the man in second, up and over the top through turns 3 and 4, heading down into the Austin's turn now here at Hampton Downs. So you can see, unlike a lot of other motor racing tracks around New Zealand, plenty of elevation change, plenty of off-camber corners, a real challenge for the drivers. Coming up into the hairpin now as we go back to the man in the front. And he is making his way towards the checkered flag. This is multiple Porsche champion, both series and New Zealand champion, Ian Hare. Now we might have found the reason for the smoke. It might be tyre up, because I think the left rear might be flat. It's not going to bother him though. He's going to see the checkered flag first. Ian Hare will win race 3 of the Porsche Club Series. In second place, it will be David Mackerel, and in third place, it will be Tim James. So Ian Hare gets another win in the book here at Hampton Downs. Formula First has been the breeding ground for New Zealand race champions for many years, thanks largely to the efforts of Dennis Martin and his Sabre Motorsport team, who run the annual Speed Sport Academy Scholarship Program. Shane Van Gisbergen, Mitch Evans, Nick Cassidy, Richie Stanaway all cut their teeth in this class before heading to the international stage. The cars may be slow, but the regulations keep this class incredibly even. The result is that all the competitors have the opportunity to learn and race incredibly closely, just as it's always been in this class of racing. Among the new bunch of young drivers competing in the 2013 series is 18-year-old CORY Holmes, son of former New Zealand rally champ Stumpy Holmes. So the question he's always asked, why not start in a rally car?
The scene of rallies, there's pretty a hard chance to make it somewhere, that's quite expensive, or as any motorsport is, but I think there's more of an opportunity to make it somewhere as a driver, going track and something different. So everyone's learning, like Dad's learning heaps, so trying to make our way. But yeah, I never thought I'd come to track racing, but yeah, it's been a good choice.
When we took Cory to Speedway and we saw the mini stock class that kids can start in from the age of 12 up to 17, we felt that bit of sideways action and things, so we got donated a car that Cory drove, and in the end we got sponsored one, and Cory drove really well in one.
Richie Stanaway's parents put up a free entry into Speed Sport Motorsport Academy that Dennis Martin does, and they set a scout out for that night, and we managed to got chosen for it. So, and then we just head down there and had a go, and I all new to everything and never driven anything on tarmac before, and managed to get runner-up against Hayden Pedersen.
Cory's been very lucky with the help that we have got from Ardex New Zealand and all Subaru Parts World. B&T have been with me for many, many years, and they've helped me out just through myself, but I think the support that a lot of the kids get in any sport, it certainly helps, and it certainly helps a lot of Kiwi kids. And we've gone in small with sponsors, but these cars are quite cheap to run as long as you have no damage, but we are dealing with 45-year-old parts. The dearest part is buying the car, and the rest of it is easy.
What's your dream scenario, Cory? What would you like to do in the next 5 years?
Dream scenario, I'll just go in as at the moment, just not too sure exactly. But my dream would be V8 supercars, but that's always down the track. But I think setting the goals for something achievable every year.
So this is race number 3 for the Formula First. This is part of their national championships on the front row. It is car number 11, and that is Taylor Cockerton, son of Dean, and outside of him it is Rowan Shepherd. So we'll have a look, and it's Shepherd that looks like he goes into the front. Cockerton goes back into second place. Coming around the outside of him was Ryan Hellier using car number 2 there. So keep an eye on him, because he's always the bridesmaid, never the bride, poor old Ryan. He's a bit of a veteran of this class now, but I don't think he's ever stood on the top step of the national championship. The man at the front of the field hasn't either, but his brother has 4 times. Rowan Shepherd leads this race. Michael Shepherd, his older brother, is a 4-time champion in the Formula First. So it is Rowan Shepherd in the front as they head towards turn number 5 here at Taupo. Second place, number 11, that's Taylor Cockerton, and then it is Tim Fox, and then it'll be Ryan Hellier. And Cory Holmes coming through there as well in the red car. He's got a bit of work to do. Started around about mid-grid. So come into the big sweeper at the top end of the circuit. Just look at the wider line that Rowan Shepherd has taken, and the rest of the field following him through. 1200cc VW engines, air-cooled, pretty near identical. Fox looking for the racing room here, and he gets in front of Cockerton as they work their way through the complex. And this is a hallmark of Formula First racing. It is lap after lap you'll see different leaders, but it's not imperative to lead on the first couple of laps, because it's a real drafting fest. You see Cockerton pull out of the draft of Fox here. Rowan Shepherd tucked under the gearbox. He'll look for the inside run through 1. Can't get it done. Fox tries to close up the gaps as well. Hellier just caught in no man's land, back in 3rd place for the moment, so I'll pick up on that. Right in behind him, it is Cory Holmes, and then in behind him, car number 41, and that's Oliver Gordon in the McIntosh Brothers green and black Formula First. So slowly but surely, this lead group is just being pulled in, and that's another feature of Formula First racing, close groups. A little bit like a cycling race. Drafting pays huge, huge dividends. You see Cory Holmes tucked under the gearbox there of Ryan Hellier. Just saw the Speed Sport Scholarship winner, Aaron Marr, just having a bit of a mistake there as Cory Holmes decides it's time to make a move, and he'll try and go right round the field on the outside. Fox is going to fight him all the way though. They are wheel to wheel. Holmes decides he's got to pull in. He's got to get some benefit from the draft. He's going to get caught napping here, I think. No, he's just got the extra power, but here comes Oliver down the inside. So too Rowan Shepherd. He's in this mix as well, and it is on for young and old through the complex, and can you believe it? Coming out of that, best of all, is Cory Holmes in the Ardex number 9. So, the first 2 starting to get away, and then the second group starting to form as well, being led by Cory Holmes. Then it is Tim Fox, and it's Ryan Hellier, and then it is Oliver, and in behind him, it looks like it is Dave Ruthven, one of the veterans of Formula First racing. He's been around since they used to call them Formula Vs. Out in the front, though, no change. Still the Shepherd and Cockerton battle. But we concentrate on where the racing is at the moment, and that is 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Holmes, then it is Fox, then it is Ryan Hellier. Ryan Hellier with a Hellbray chassis. Up ahead of him, car number 20, and that is Fox, and that is the Sabre from the Sabre Motorsport stable of Dennis Martin of Palmerston North. Corey Holmes just up in front of them is in a challenge. So that's the three major chassis, if you like, represented there in this little battle. Ryan Hellier decides it's time to make a move as the laps wind down here. And as I said, don't get too excited if your favourite driver isn't in the front with 2 or 3 to go. But do get excited if he's in the front with 1 to go, because that's when they seem to make their move. It's a drafting fest. They try and get the very best out of these little 1200cc cars, and that's what Fox is trying to do now. He's got a run on Ryan Hellier as they come back into the complex again. Holmes clears Fox, then it is Hellier trying to get around Fox. Can't do it for the moment. Then it's Oliver. So this battle group changing spots, as they always do in Formula First racing, but Corey Holmes just holding station. Out ahead of these two, of course, it is Taylor Cockerton and Rowan Shepherd. They've got their own little battle going. Out through turn 1 they come once again. And another thing this class teaches is late braking, because your momentum is the key when you've only got 1200cc of air-cooled VW power. You've got to stay on the throttle just as long as you can. You've got to carry that speed through the corners. Doing a great example of that at the moment is Corey Holmes, and Fox just getting a little bit twitchy there, coming out of 5 now, heading up to the fastest part of the track here at Taupo. Dave Ruthven just trying for all he's worth to try and get on this group, and he can't do it at the moment. Coming down the inside is car number 17, and this is Bramwell King in the LV. This car's built out of Wanganui. This is the front battle though. Rowan Shepherd's decided I've been second long enough, and he puts the hurt on Taylor Cockerton. Taylor Cockerton's got track position. He decides to follow Shepherd through the complex. So he's thinking, if I can get close enough, maybe on the short front straight, I can have a run going into 1. A little bit sideways coming out onto the front straight. Chicken flag comes out. Rowan Shepherd picked the opportune time to pass, and he wins the race. Taylor Cockerton will go across the line in second place. Then it'll be Corey Holmes, and right in behind him will be Tim Fox. And that's the way the judges saw it as well. So Rowan Shepherd pulled out the opportune time to pass, and he gets the win in the Formula Firsts. Well, one step up for Formula First could be into one of these fantastic sports cars. Once the home of the Caterhams and the Frasers and a few New Zealand specials, sports car racing has expanded with the arrival of Junos, Radicals, and this exotic French car by Ligier.
It's a Ligier from the French factory, and Ligier made Formula 1 cars back in the 80s and what have you. And this is the first of their sports prototypes that they made for this category. So it's the JS49 is the model, and hence why I chose the number for the car. I brought it in last year from France. It had been run in a team for a couple of years, and then they sold it to some French privateers who campaigned it back in France for a few years, and then they decided to get on with it. So, and I believe they bought a Caterham now in replacement for that. So.
Well, what motivated you to buy something like this?
I've been out of sports car racing for a few years. I had a Lotus 7 that I ran for 5 or 6 years. That had a few mechanical issues and ended up getting pulled apart, as you do. And then through a series of events, I decided that last year it was time to get back into motor racing. Yeah.
Is it a difficult car to run?
Certainly significantly different from a Lotus 7 to drive, and you really have to drive them a lot harder. You've got the aerodynamics that come into play on them, and a different kettle of fish altogether, definitely.
But the club sport style sports car are also catered for at IRC, like this beautiful Lola Climax lookalike of Trev Lines.
What was the attraction of this car to you?
I just love the lines. It's based on the old Lola Climax, which was an old classic. And obviously Kevin's done a great job of modern technology in it. It runs a little 2-litre Toyota motor, and it's sleek. I just love the look of it. I think it's the open top, so you get if you haven't got the visor up, you get the wind in your face. But they go long way back to Bruce McLaren and Denny Holm. We've got great history of sports cars in New Zealand, and it has gone through a bit of a lull, but recently. As you say, we've got all these cars coming in now from the UK, and I guess they're a bit cheaper to buy than what they used to be. Very, very strong in Australia, and ideally an Australia-New Zealand competition in the future would be on the cards, I think. We do actually, as I say, we do run 4 classes within that sports car class, so it can be quite confusing. Next year we're looking at running a separate club sport class, because the days of club sport competing with these factory cars from the UK, as you say, are past.
So this is the field of Exotica sports cars here at Hampton Downs, and really looking at this grid, it could be anywhere in the world. Juno's to the fore, and the man that really put Juno on the map over the New Zealand Motorsport Summer a season or two ago is Jeff Short, and that's Shorty out in the front now. Look at these cars. Sports car racing in New Zealand has changed over the last 4 or 5 seasons with the introduction of the, well, cost-effective, I guess you'd say, European imports and the motorcycle-powered races. The Juno in the front, though, powered by a 2-litre Honda engine. The Juno in second place, also powered by a Honda. And a lot of these drivers have come from other classes. David GELNN out there in the Radical, he's come from Group A touring cars, one of the veterans of the Wellington street race years and years ago. So we'll keep an eye on him. Ian Slight just moving up into 4th place now, another Juno. Dean McCarroll, number 24, there he is, the black car. And here's some of the Radicals, and the Radicals powered by motorcycle engines. Hayabusa Suzuki's or Z10 Kawasaki's, over 1,000cc, 6-speed sequential gearbox. Huge power to weight ratio, and then these little sports cars, they are a recipe for fun and fast lap times, and certainly what we're getting here, 105s at Hampton Downs. Quick stuff as the front 4 work their way through turn number 1 into Coca-Cola, turn 2 here at Hampton Downs. Short calling the shots. Good aerodynamic package on these cars, big wing, massive downforce to keep these cars stuck to the racetrack. GELNN through in second place. There is Ian Slight. Number 24 there, Dean McCarroll in 4th, and it's Alan Barker and yet another Juno. And they've seen the success of Jeff Short in this amazing little sports car, and they've decided that they need to do that. 24 just tasting the grass there. That was Dean McCarroll. Recovers nicely though. Car number 77 is Kevin Addington. Kevin's in one of the Radicals, powered by a 1350cc Kawasaki engine. And number 711 in that field, Alan Barker in the Juno. So the Juno's got a bit of work to do if it wants to pick up the Radical. We'll have a look as they come up the big front straight here at Hampton Downs. All these times, the top 4 times in the 105, so pretty evenly matched racing. But it's Jeff Short that's stolen a bit of a march on the rest of the field for the moment. Eddington and Alan Barker having a great little battle there. Also John Mines in this one as well. And that's a JRM sports car, once again powered by a motorcycle engine, this time a 1300cc Hayabusa Suzuki. So Kevin Addington quite keen to keep John Mines behind him, and in doing so keeping out Alan Barker in the Juno. So some tactics maybe coming to play here as well. These 3 cars heading up towards the hairpin here at Hampton Downs. Great braking packages on these cars as well. They really are engineering masterpieces. If you're at a race meeting where these cars are competing, you owe it to yourself to get down into the pits and have a look under the bodywork. There's a fair bit going on. Addington just starting to pull away. Yellow flag, so we've got a problem here. Just see if we can spot what's happened down at the sweeper, maybe at turn 1. Because from the driver's point of view, certainly in these low-slung sports car, it was absolutely blind heading up over the top into the off-camber turn number 1. Now, Alan Barker has passed John Mines here, but then he's realised it's under yellow conditions, so he's let Mines get in front of him again rather than take the penalty. That was clever stuff. Safety car comes out here at Hampton Downs, and we believe that that's Russell Burling stopped over in the gravel trap. That's the reason for the safety car. New Zealand Motorsport Park taking the number 5, Russell Burling Sangyong, off the circuit. So we get set to go again here at Hampton Downs. It is race number 17 for the sports cars of the overall program here for the IRC meeting, and once again normal status is resumed. Jeff Short goes out into the front, David GELNN holds on to second place, and then it would be car number 24, and that's Dean McCarroll through in 3rd. He's probably had more seat time than anyone else in the Juno, is Jeff Short, and he brokered the deal to see that more Junos got out on the racetrack, and they're running 1, 2 and 4 at the moment. There is car number 24, that's a Juno as well, and that is McCarroll. Short leads it, GELNN in second. Through the hairpin they go, heading down into the big sweeper now. McCarroll just trying to hang on to the coattails there of Alan Barker in yet another Juno. Addington coming again on Ian Slight by the look of it. And there is that beautiful Ligier, car number 49. That really is something special. Important to bolster the sports car ranks here in New Zealand. Across the stripe they go once again. Here comes the challenge coming from Glasson. Short's got one eye in the mirrors though, sees it coming and just moves over as they work their way through turn one, so no change at the top of the field. Once again, McCarroll using all the track and then a little bit more, and that may be just going to cost him a spot here, because Alan Barker was certainly starting to close him down in the 711. We'll just see. No, McCarroll holds on to third place for the moment. There is Barker. Bit of a lock up there from Glasson. That's not going to alter his position, and as he has done in the previous two races, Jeff Short just starting to edge away from the rest of the field. Just keep an eye on this battle here. Dean McCarroll in the black car, right in behind him. It is Alan Barker in yet another Juno. That one also 2-litre Honda Integra power. This is Kevin Addington. He's having a pretty good race there with Brian McConkey. Brian McConkey, a refugee from Formula First. In fact, Brian McConkey was probably one of the original Formula First pilots. He's made the step up to sports car racing. Oh, and here's a problem here. And that's car number 46, Lloyd Wilson, and he spun it right round. I just wonder if they made contact. We'll have a look at it on the replay. You're watching for the white car. Yes, there is contact, and there's the damage on Lloyd Wilson's car. Well, that could have been much more significant. Yellow flags will fly once again here at Hampton Downs, and that's the reason why Lloyd Wilson stopped in the middle of the racetrack and Andrew Miller off on the gravel. Checkered flag comes out though, and Jeff Short will take another win here at Hampton Downs in second place. The last time we looked, it was car number 8, and that was David Glasson. But Jeff Short's got a pretty good lead, and it is Glasson across the line in second place, and right in behind him it is Ian Slight, 111. So Junos 1, 2 and 3 here at Hampton Downs. Fourth place goes to Dean McCarroll, and in fifth it was Alan Barker. Sixth went to Kevin Addington, and in seventh Brian McConkey. We hope you enjoyed this selection of racing from the IRC series. If you're interested in getting involved, they have a great website. It's irc.org.nz with links to all the class website. There's even a for sale section if you're looking to buy a race car. The series starts again in October and will run right through the summer at all the North Island tracks. And you can check out more race action on the IRC YouTube page. Search IRC NZ. And our thanks to the Toyota Racing Series, who made this production possible.